Have you ever wondered what it takes to survive a week in Antarctica? Imagine a place where the sun barely rises in winter and never sets in summer. A world where the average temperature can plummet to -50 degrees Celsius and ice winds can whip up to 200 kilometers per hour. Welcome to Antarctica, a place that truly tests the mettle of the human spirit and endurance. This is not your average tourist destination. This is a land of extremes, a challenge for the intrepid and the bold, a vast, icy wilderness stretching over 14 million square kilometers. It is Earth's southernmost continent and the coldest, driest, and windiest place on the planet. It's a place where you can't just stroll in unprepared. Surviving in Antarctica is not just about battling the elements. It's about understanding them. It's about knowing that the cold here isn't just cold, it's extreme cold. Cold that can freeze your breath before it leaves your lips. Cold that can turn boiling water into snow in seconds. The winds are not just winds, they're katabatic winds. Winds that can knock you off your feet. Winds that can turn a simple walk into a struggle for survival. But it's not just the physical challenge that makes Antarctica a test of survival. It's the isolation. For large parts of the year, Antarctica is cut off from the rest of the world. It's just you and the relentless ice. No phone signal, no internet, no quick escape. The isolation is as much a part of the challenge as the cold and the wind. Preparation is key. The right gear can mean the difference between life and death. Specialized clothing, robust shelters, reliable communication equipment, and emergency supplies are essential. But even with all the right equipment, survival in Antarctica requires mental fortitude, resilience, and a strong will to survive. Surviving here isn't just about braving the cold, it's about mental fortitude and meticulous preparation. If you think you've got what it takes, then strap in and bundle up. The challenge of Antarctica awaits. Scene script. Think you can brave the Antarctic cold with just your winter jacket and gloves? Think again. Surviving in Antarctica isn't about being tough, it's about being prepared. And that starts with the right clothing. You see, Antarctica isn't just cold, it's the coldest place on Earth. Temperatures can plunge to -100 degrees Fahrenheit. That's colder than your home freezer, colder than the North Pole, colder than you can even imagine. Your regular winter gear won't cut it here. You need specialized clothing designed to withstand the Antarctic chill. We're talking thermal clothing. This isn't your typical winter wear. It's made from high-tech fabrics designed to trap your body heat and keep out the cold. You'll need thermal tops, thermal bottoms, thermal socks, all the thermals you can get your hands on. But it's not just the cold you need to worry about. Antarctica is also home to some of the strongest winds on the planet. So you'll need windproof gear too. A windproof jacket, windproof trousers, windproof gloves. These are your first line of defense against the powerful Antarctic gusts. Layering is key. Start with a base layer to keep the warmth in. Add an insulating layer to trap that warmth. Then finish with a protective outer layer to shield against the wind and snow. Remember, it's easier to remove layers if you're too hot than to add them if you're too cold. Footwear is crucial too. You'll need insulated waterproof boots to protect your feet from frostbite. And don't forget goggles to shield your eyes from the glaring Antarctic sun. Yes, you heard right. Sunblock is a must in Antarctica. The snow reflects the sun's rays, increasing your risk of sunburn. The right gear can mean the difference between life and death in these icy extremes. So before you set foot in Antarctica, make sure you're equipped to survive. Because in this frozen wilderness, preparation isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. In Antarctica, even the basic necessities become a challenge. In this icy wilderness, finding food and water is not as simple as popping to the local grocery store. The barren, frosted landscape offers little in the way of sustenance. The Antarctic's native inhabitants, like seals and penguins, are protected by international law, and the sparse vegetation is not fit for human consumption. So how does one stay nourished in this desolate place? The answer lies in preparation. When packing for your Antarctic adventure, high-calorie meals are a must. These aren't your typical daily meals though. We're talking about meals specially designed to provide the energy your body needs to brave the cold and fight off fatigue. Think dehydrated, vacuum-sealed meals packed with proteins and fats, the kind that can last for years and can be prepared with just a bit of hot water. Oh, and speaking of water, that's another challenge you'll have to contend with. You might think, hey, there's snow everywhere, so water should be easy to come by, right? Well, not quite. While it's true that snow can be melted to produce water, it's a process that requires heat, meaning you'll need a portable stove on hand. Plus, snow isn't as water-dense as you might think. It takes about 10 liters of snow to produce just 1 liter of water. But don't let this discourage you. Yes, it's a challenge, but it's a challenge that can be overcome with planning and the right tools. Now you might be wondering why all this fuss about food and water. Well, in an environment as harsh as Antarctica, dehydration and malnutrition can set in rapidly. These conditions can impair your physical and mental abilities, making survival even more difficult. In this frozen desert, your next meal and drink aren't just needs. They're your lifelines, so pack wisely, stay hydrated and keep your energy levels up. Your survival may depend on it. In the world's coldest desert, your shelter is your fortress. Let's delve into the significance of a robust, windproof shelter in the heart of Antarctica. When it comes to survival in this frozen wasteland, your shelter is more than just a place to sleep. It is your bulwark against the biting winds, your defense against the harsh elements, your sanctuary amidst the ice and snow. Now, let's talk about tents. In these extreme conditions, the tents used aren't your average camping tents. We're talking about high-tech, specially designed tents that can withstand the fiercest Antarctic winds. These are your ice fortresses, your homes away from home. They are constructed with strong, durable materials like nylon and polyester, designed to endure the relentless Antarctic weather. But a tent is only as good as its anchor. You see, in Antarctica, the wind doesn't just blow, it howls. Gusts can reach speeds of up to 100 miles per hour, so securing your tent is of paramount importance. Every tent comes equipped with snow stakes, which are driven deep into the ice to keep your shelter grounded. But don't just rely on those stakes. Use snow blocks or bags filled with snow to add extra weight and stability. Now imagine a scenario where you're caught in a whiteout, far from your tent, and you need immediate shelter. That's when you turn to snow trenches. These are emergency shelters dug out of the snow, just big enough for a person to crawl into and escape the wind. Your body heat can warm up the small space, offering a temporary respite from the storm. But remember, these trenches are a last resort. They are not meant for long-term use, and digging one can be physically exhausting, which is a risk in itself in such a hostile environment. Surviving in Antarctica is a game of endurance, and your shelter plays a crucial role in that. It is your refuge, your sanctuary, your fortress. It's not just about surviving the Antarctic cold, but thriving amidst it. Your shelter is your home, your protection, your fortress against the biting Antarctic winds. Surviving the Antarctic cold is one thing. Surviving the isolation is another. Antarctica, the White Desert, is not just a test of physical endurance, but also a test of mental fortitude. The silence can be deafening and the isolation overwhelming. To prepare mentally, you need to understand the magnitude of the challenge. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving in solitude. Keeping busy is key. Create a routine. Stick to it. This will not only keep you occupied, but also give you a sense of control. Remember, the mind has a peculiar way of playing tricks when you are isolated. It can make a molehill look like a mountain, so staying positive is crucial. Maybe you can take this time to reflect, to learn something new, or simply to appreciate the stark beauty of your surroundings. Remember, in Antarctica, your mind can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. Surviving a week in Antarctica is no easy feat. It's a place that tests you, pushes you to your limits, and challenges your very essence. It's a terrain that demands respect, preparation, and an unwavering will to survive. Remember, the key to survival here is not just about packing the right gear or bringing enough food and water. It's about understanding the environment, respecting its power, and adapting to its harsh conditions. Your gear, though essential, is just a tool. Your real survival kit is your knowledge, your adaptability, and your mental strength. Creating a shelter that can withstand the icy winds, sourcing food and water in an almost barren landscape, and maintaining a strong psychological state in the face of solitude and extreme weather are all vital components of surviving here. But with the right knowledge, gear, and mindset, you too can conquer the icy wilderness of Antarctica.